you all, Bapa Ibu. Thank you so much for coming online. We will start in a couple of minutes, Bapa Ibu. Apologies to keep you all waiting. We are just waiting for all the panelists and many more teachers to join us. So thank you so much, and please, we'll start in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Hello, good morning to all. Good morning to all. Panjanadam, good morning to all.
A very good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Very good morning to all.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning.
Very good morning.
Bapa Ibu dari Bali.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Maaf, Bapak Ibu dari Dinas Pendidikan Bali. Bapak Ibu hadir, Ibu. Apakah kita boleh mulai, Bapak Ibu? Sir, can we start, sir? Sure, right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, greetings, selamat siang, namaste. A very good afternoon to all of you all. Welcome you all today to the 3-day workshop with the title Virtual Learning Environment for Effective Education, hosted by SRM Institute of Science and Technology in collaboration with Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, TNTU, and organized by Tie-Ups International in collaboration with Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Banten, Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Sulawesi Tenggara, Bali, Aptikom Pusat Bali, Aptikom Pusat Banten, Unicom Bandung, MGMP Bahasa Inggris National Bali, Banten, and Sulawesi Tenggara. Bapak Ibu, please allow me to introduce myself. Nama saya Raffi Makija. I'm an Indian, but been living in Indonesia for the past 20 years. And that's why Bapak Ibu saya bisa ngomong bahasa Indonesia. And I'm the director of Tie-Ups International, an initiative which was established in 2015 to build brand India in the field of education in Indonesia, and also to enhance educational links in India and Indonesia. And also we represent SRM Institute of Science and Technology in Indonesia. Please allow me to welcome Dr. Sandeep Sancheti, Vice Chancellor of SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much. Also, please allow me to welcome Professor Dr. N. Panchanatham, Vice Chancellor of TNTU. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the support, sir. Also, please allow me to welcome Dr. Kahoot Nugraha Joy Vibhava, Kepala Dinas Provinsi Bali. Also, please allow me to welcome Dr. Azrun Leo M. Hum, PhD, Kepala Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Sulawesi Tenggara. Dr. Kartar Singh, Director of International Relations from SRM, and his team, Mr. Suresh Anandmani, Dr. Prema, and all the other colleagues in SRM and also in TNTU. Trainers for the webinar and workshop today, Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj, MSc, MPhil, PhD, Professor S. Kadiravan, Professor K. Chilamani, the collaboration team of Apticom Pusat, Professor Eri Prasithio Vibovo, Dr. Nina Kurnia Hikmawati, Dr. Wendy Osino, collaboration team of MGMP Bahasa Inggris National and Region, Pa Toteng Sohara, Pa Made Samadi Yasap, MPD, Pa Ferdinand Nicholas Wound, MPD, Pa Bambang Afianto. Also the collaboration team from Denpasar Institute, Bapa I Made Dwija Swastana, SHMM, and also Dr. Nenga. Also, please allow me to welcome the collaboration team of Apticom Bali and Sticom Bali, Pa Dadang, and also Pa Shofan Anif. The collaboration team of TNTU. There are many people, so all the people from TNTU, thank you so much. The collaboration team of PHDI Indonesia and Prajanati Indonesia, Pa Arsana and the others. Respected teachers from the province of Bali, Banten, and Sulawesi Tenggara. Once again, welcome you all today to the workshop with the title Virtual Learning Environment for Effective Education. Papa Ibu, to begin the inauguration process, may I now request Professor Dr. N. Panchanatham, Vice Chancellor of TNTU, to give his welcoming remarks. Sir, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
If there is any problem, please inform me. I will switch off my video in that case.
Sure, sir.
Honorable members of organizing committee from Indonesia, from SRM, from Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, most respected trainers, resource persons, wonderful participants, and you all have thirst for learning. That is the reason you are participating. Ladies and gentlemen, I am tempted emotionally to mention everybody's name and appreciate, but 5 minutes time for me, and already 1 minute has gone. I can only congratulate organizing team for collaborating, particularly those who are responsible for collaboration, this great collaboration of various great institutions from Indonesia, India, SRM, and the Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. You have given your time, you have given your knowledge, you have given your wisdom, you have all made it possible. So on behalf of all the participants and on my personal behalf, I congratulate organizing committee for spending your valuable time in organizing this great event. Similarly, on behalf of organizing committee, I congratulate to every participant, teacher or whatever maybe is or her designation, they are spending valuable time to learn. Regarding this title, if we see, without this environment, learning environment, e-learning environment, today it is not possible to run educational institutions. That is the situation has come sometimes thanks to pandemic. Though it has been in practice for many years with the available technology from in developed countries, of course we have used this pandemic. And we have seen that how virtual learning environment can be used for effective teaching learning practice. There are 158 methods of teaching methods, the pedagogies or teaching methods. Drama, not only face-to-face program we can do, the same drama through virtual learning environment we can do. But through virtual learning environment, we can go for debate. Through virtual learning environment, we can go for field visit. Through virtual learning environment, we can go for conducting quiz. We can go for extempo talk. We can go for games. We can go for case studies. So much can be done. But we have to utilize this opportunity of utilizing virtual learning environment, because teachers are very much trained to be with the lecture methods. But thanks to Government of India and other governments of other countries and the state governments, in India, they introduced national education policy, new educational policy, where they insist, both the Honorable Government of India and Honorable State governments, they insist on non-lecture method, student-centric method, trainee-centered training. For all those things, this virtual learning environment, virtual learning tools, virtual learning softwares, virtual learning resources will certainly support the teacher, so his effectiveness of teaching learning process, effectiveness of teaching and learning process will go up, enhancement in teaching learning process will be there, and the interest of learners will increase because the learners do participate. Simultaneously, from yesterday, we have been doing storytelling as a method through this through this platform. From yesterday for 5 days, our university is organizing. Apart from that, I'm very happy to say that all Indian universities, Indonesian universities, they do a lot of things through virtual learning environment, utilizing virtual learning environment. But this university, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, with the help of 32 teachers, they have organized 1,100 such programs through online for the past 6 or 7 months using this pandemic period. 1,100 program, including Lakshmi Shanmugam, everybody, the organizing members, they have done that. Also, I am very happy to say that I was a visiting professor in the University of Brawijaya, Indonesia. I was teaching in the department for some time. In those days, we have used many such virtual learning environment platforms to enhance the teaching learning process. So if you permit me, I will be going on highlighting the purpose of teaching virtual environment, highlighting the future of virtual learning environment, how it complements, helps, supports, enhances teaching learning process. I will be going on talking as a teacher for the past 32 years, teaching business administration program. But fortunately, we have very respected trainers, very respected, like Professor Kadiravan, many respected professors are there to train us, to tell all nuances of utilizing virtual learning environment for the better teaching learning practice. So that is the reason I restrict my speech to this level. I wish the program becomes a grand success. Again, on behalf of all the dedicated participants and on my personal behalf, I congratulate all the collaborating team, organizing team, all the three institutions and many more institutions who are working for these collaborations for making it is a grand success. On behalf of all of us, I appreciate, bless, and wish participants to have a great future. Ultimately, we all will work together to make a better society in the world. Thanks for the opportunity. God bless all. Best wishes. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for your very kind words, sir. We really look forward for having more and more collaborations between India and Asia. We really appreciate the support of DNTU for that, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you.
So, Bapabu, let's move forward. Now, may I now request Dr. Sandeep Sanjeti, the Vice Chancellor of SRM Institute of Science and Technology, to give his welcoming remarks. Sir, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Makija. A very good afternoon to all friends from Indonesia. And of course, good morning to all those who have joined us from India. Very happy to be joining hands with the TNTEU for delivering this wonderful workshop on virtual learning environment for effective education. I'm thankful to Mr. Ravi Makhija for facilitating it. And of course, very happy to join Professor Panchanatham and also Dr. Arsun Leo, Dr. Ketut, my own team members, Mr. Kartar Singh Ji, Dr. Prema, other experts, trainers, speakers, everyone. Once again, a welcome to inaugural session of this workshop. Very happy to join because this is the need of the hour. This is what the education space needs now, that we change gears, we change direction, we change speed. And that will happen only if we collaborate, if we learn from each other, we share what we can do. So this is a 3-day workshop, 3-day event. Mainly attendees are from Indonesia, from 3 provinces, as has been told. And it's more about the virtual learning or virtual teaching learning and how to enhance the education or the psychology and technology components in the education. So it's a very nice thing because we heavily collaborate with Indonesian institutions, and therefore it's our time if we can share our expertise and be counted for their good or good of the education in general. So here we are basically talking of training the teachers, and I would like to say a few points for the teachers. The role of teacher has changed in last many years and it's constantly changing, but more so in recent times, primarily because of pandemic and more because of the technology is also getting matured. And the third is our mindset is now opening up. We were very resistive to technology getting into the class, including mobiles and laptops. But today we are welcoming or rather pleading our students that you come with those devices in your class. So the role of teacher also has to change because the devices have made an entry and technology has made an entry. And by the way, once technology comes in any space, be it mobile to automobile, you'll find the life changes, the modus operandi changes, and therefore teachers will have to change the modus operandi. Number one, I would like to suggest, till now, we are mostly focusing on covering the syllabus. We are given a subject, we are given a certain set of lectures, 40 hours of lectures, and we go and deliver that so many X credit of courses, whatever it may be. And we call that we cover the course. The role of teacher now is going to be uncover the course, not cover the course. Uncover meaning thereby that you will tell the students why you are studying this subject. How is it important? How is it connected with your future? What was its connection with the past? When do you apply this? When do you use it? All those things. It's something like setting the tone for a novel. If you want to read a novel, you'll have to get proper introduction to all the characters and the plot. And that's how you get interested in the novel. So basically contextualizing everything. And then I'm sure this learners will become self-learners and they will learn by themselves rather than be forced into learning. And therefore, we have to uncover, and there are many other concepts which I can go on and explaining, but I will limit because of the time. Also, I like to say one thing. The teacher generally works in 3 domains in an education space. We call it assimilation of information, dissemination of information, and generation of information. Assimilation is accumulation, dissemination is when we deliver in the classrooms, and generation is when we do research. Unfortunately, the research part was lacking in our case, and now we have to focus more on the new knowledge, the new generation, and the research which is required. Therefore, I would say that teacher's role, which was primarily teaching, if I say teaching was 50% and learning was 50%, the teaching will become 30% and learning will become 70%. So teaching will take a slightly side seat in terms of the effort which is required, and we'll have to do more on generation, and of course dissemination and assimilation we anyway keep doing. These are the changes which will come across. So if I have to call a teacher today a teacher, I would not necessarily call a teacher as a teacher. I'll also call teacher as a teacher, but in addition, I'll call teacher as a facilitator, teacher as a provider, teacher as a coach, teacher as a mentor, teacher as a counselor, teacher as an entrepreneur because he has to do a lot of new things. And finally, most importantly, teacher will also be a co-learner with the students. If a teacher does not have that mandate in his mind that he has to learn while he is teaching, and he has to be at the same wavelength and frequency with the students, I think the effectiveness of teaching learning will be less. So teacher will now be a multifaceted personality or person who will do variety of activities. And of course, in doing so, we also know that if a class of 60 or 100 students are there, these are 100 different minds, different bodies, different styles, different expectations, and different outcomes also. And therefore, one size fits all will not work in any case. A teacher has to make sure the teacher is able to deliver lots of things in different ways so that people pick up the excitement and do whatever. And therefore, I would say that the teacher will have to move from one pedagogy, what we call top down, or one philosophy, what we call top down. The teacher decides what is to be done. I would say it has to be bottom up. the student should decide more and more about it, what should be done. And for that, in India, there is a new scheme which we call Academic Bank of Credit, which is primarily a kind of promoting these kind of things where it will be high level of student centricity, as was being said just now, that we should be student centric, and that will come from the Academic Bank of Credit. Hopefully from next semester, this scheme will be operated upon. Some of us have worked to formulate this scheme regulations, and I'm sure people in Indonesia, our colleagues and friends from Indonesia should also take advantage of that. Ultimately, what it basically would allow is blending of the courses or the mediums or the time or the cost or the whatever it may be. And ultimately, there can be new degrees called Bachelor of Liberal Education. And therefore, you should make sure that we amalgamate many, many things while making teaching learning happen to our students. And in that case, I would say that use of technology will also be important in blended learning or blended teaching. I'll call it as artificial intelligence as one example only. And I'm not necessarily saying that do it for proctoring and assessing. I'm saying that you can assess much more. If I'm sitting in your class, you can know whether I'm attentive, whether I'm good in a given subject, whether I've responded to question, what is lacking in me, what is good in me, should I go fast or slow, all that can be given. And you can handle much bigger classes of 500, 600 students easily with giving personal attention to everyone. That is the power of technology. So we have to blend technology with traditional methods and also come good to the expectations of our students. That's a fundamental thing. Friends, there can be many, many things which can be said. I will try to conclude that there are many things which we know in terms of blended pedagogies. Number one, in the blended pedagogies, we have generation of ideas, brainstorming, concept mapping, mind mapping, creative presentation, exposure to the real world, case studies, cooperative learning, project-based learning. These are all the pedagogies which are there. And then, of course, the blended model is a model which is mix of face-to-face, online, flipped classes, rotational models, self-blended models, blended MOOCs, which are also there becoming common, various other flexible models which are there in terms of blended this thing. And ultimately, last point is that the blended learning environment excites the students. It makes their many things improve. For example, increased student interest, student focus for longer time on the given course because they are more prepared and they're willing. Student autonomy, they go as they please. Student ownership of what they are trying to do. Instant feedbacks can be given in the blended mode very, very easily, learning at their own pace, preparing for self-learning, and that is for better of their future, I think, which is important. And finally, more experiential learning and skill learning also getting amalgamated in the conventional teaching learning. So there are many, many beautiful things with the blending which we can do. I'm sure you will all learn about these things in the next 3 days. And you will not only learn, you will also share your ideas and make even the experts learn. What do you think, what is right and what is not right? I think it is with this aim we have come to kind of hold or support this workshop. And I take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Makheja and his team for facilitating everything. And I'm sure all of us will be more wiser at the end of it and will have more avenues to cooperate and collaborate and do certain things which are needed in the educational domain right now. So my best wishes for you to make new friends and learn new things. Thank you. Namaskar. Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Really inspiring, sir, to just see that how blended learning is creating a lot of opportunities. I believe every crisis creates opportunities, and I guess somewhere this pandemic, of course, it's a crisis, but a lot of opportunities are there, and that's one of the reasons why having an online meeting like this, which never we used to think of, we are already doing it now. So thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot once again, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Bapak Ibu, kita lanjut Bapak Ibu. May I now request, we are very happy to have among us Dr. Nugraha Joy Vibhawa, Kepala Dinas dari Kepala Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Bali. So may I now request for an opening remarks from the Ministry of Education from the province Bali, Dr. Nugraha Joy Vibhawa. Ibu, the screen is yours, Bu.
Om Swastiastu. Oke, sebelumnya izinkan saya menyampaikan permohonan maaf karena pada kesempatan ini Bapak Kepala Dinas tidak dapat hadir bersama kita pada acara siang hari ini. Untuk itu kami mewakili Bapak Kepala Dinas Pendidikan, Kepemudaan, dan Olahraga Provinsi Bali, mohon izin untuk menyampaikan sambutan beliau pada workshop pada hari ini.
Ya,
Yang terhormat Ketua Yayasan Gunawidya Paramesti, yang kami hormati Bapak Direktur Denpasar Institut, yang kami hormati Bapak Ibu narasumber workshop, serta yang kami banggakan Bapak Ibu guru dan tenaga kependidikan peserta workshop. Pertama-tama marilah kita menghaturkan sesanti angayu bagya kehadapan Ide Sang Hyang Widiwasa, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena atas asung kerta waranugrahanya kita semua masih diberikan kesehatan di tengah situasi pandemi COVID-19 ini untuk mengikuti secara virtual pembukaan workshop daring pada hari ini, Kamis 20 Januari 2021. Pemerintah Provinsi Bali melalui visi Nangun Satkerti Loka Bali melalui pola pembangunan semesta berencana menuju Bali era Balu, mengandung makna menjaga kesucian dan keharmonisan alam Bali beserta isinya untuk mewujudkan kehidupan kerama Bali yang sejahtera, bahagia, skala niskala. Dalam mengimplementasikan visi Nangun Satkerti Loka Bali, kualitas sumber daya manusia menjadi isu yang sangat penting, terutama dalam menghadapi tantangan di era globalisasi saat ini. Oleh karena itu, dibutuhkan peningkatan mutu sumber daya manusia. Hal tersebut sejalan dengan misi 6 pembangunan Bali tahun 2018 sampai 2023 yang bertujuan untuk mengembangkan sumber daya manusia Bali yang berdaya saing tinggi, berkualitas, bermutu, profesional, dan bermoral, serta memiliki jati diri yang kokoh berdasarkan nilai-nilai kearifan lokal Bali. Sektor pendidikan merupakan salah satu kunci penting dalam peningkatan sumber daya manusia Bali. Seorang guru terus dituntut memiliki kemampuan untuk dapat mengikuti perkembangan teknologi, serta memanfaatkan teknologi untuk meningkatkan efisiensi dan efektivitas pembelajaran, sehingga dapat memberikan pembelajaran yang bermakna bagi peserta didik. Hadirin dan peserta workshop yang saya banggakan, pandemi COVID-19 telah mengubah pola pembelajaran secara masif. Proses pembelajaran yang mestinya dilaksanakan secara tatap muka, sekarang berubah menjadi sistem pembelajaran jarak jauh atau daring. Semua peserta didik melakukan pembelajaran dari rumah. Hal tersebut dilakukan karena keselamatan peserta didik dan tenaga pendidikan merupakan hal yang utama untuk dilakukan. Pembelajaran jarak jauh memang belum seefektif pembelajaran tatap muka, apalagi di tengah kondisi darurat seperti saat ini. Banyak hal yang perlu dipersiapkan dengan baik agar proses pembelajaran bisa berjalan dengan optimal, seperti infrastruktur jaringan internet yang memadai. Pemerintah harus bekerja sama dengan semua pihak, termasuk dengan swasta, untuk benar-benar memastikan fasilitas jaringan sudah tersedia dengan baik, serta menghadirkan paket-paket internet edukasi yang murah dan terjangkau. Hadirin yang kami hormati, dalam sistem pembelajaran daring ini tidak cukup dengan hanya menyiapkan infrastruktur berupa jaringan dan platform aplikasi. Ada tuntutan yang justru lebih sulit dari itu, yaitu kesiapan sumber daya manusia, guru, dan kesiapan para pelajar. Kesiapan SDM dan pelajar ini mutlak diperlukan, sebab tidak ada gunanya infrastruktur dan fasilitas baik jika para pengguna seperti SDM, guru, dan pelajar tidak siap menjalankannya. Untuk menyiapkan SDM dan pelajar, dalam hal ini perlu dilakukan pelatihan seperti yang kita laksanakan pada hari ini, workshop dan sosialisasi secara masif dan terstruktur. Kebijakan belajar di rumah baik melalui pembelajaran luring maupun pembelajaran daring yang sudah berjalan sejak bulan Maret tahun 2020 harus terus dilakukan evaluasi dan terus ditingkatkan sehingga menghasilkan pembelajaran yang efektif, kreatif, dan inovatif serta mampu memberikan pembelajaran yang bermakna tanpa memberatkan peserta didik dan keluarganya. Hadirin dan peserta workshop yang saya hormati, kami atas nama jajaran Dinas Pendidikan, Kepemudaan, dan Olahraga Provinsi Bali sangat mengapresiasi dan mendukung workshop daring dengan tema Virtual Learning Environment for Effective Education bagi guru dan tenaga pengajar di Provinsi Bali. Untuk itu, kami berharap melalui kegiatan seperti ini akan semakin meningkatkan wawasan, mutu, kompetensi, dan daya saing pendidikan di Provinsi Bali dalam menyongsong Bali era baru. Hadirin dan peserta workshop yang saya banggakan, demikian hal-hal yang perlu saya sampaikan. Selamat mengikuti workshop secara daring. Semoga ide Sang Hyang Widiwasa senantiasa melimpahkan wara nugrahanya kepada kita semua dan senantiasa membimbing kita dalam mengemban tugas mulia dalam dunia pendidikan. Sekian dan terima kasih. Om Santi 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 Om. Denpasar 21 Januari 2021, Kepala Dinas Dr. KN Boy Jaya Wibawa.
Ya, terima kasih banyak Bu, and please convey our best wishes to Kepala Dinas Bu. Just to inform the Vice Chancellor, sir, unfortunately the Minister himself could not be there due to certain appointment. So that's why he's conveyed his messages through one of his assistants. And he's very happy with the event. And he hopes that more and more collaborations can be taken through. Just the first, and there are many more opportunities which we could work together to enhance collaborative links using the online education. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, Bapak Ibu, we also are very happy to say that kita hari ini we have Dr. Asrun Leo, M.Hom PhD, Kepala Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Sulawesi Tenggara. Dr. Asrun Leo, the screen is yours. Dr. Asrun. Pak Asrun bisa unmute, Pak. He was here. Pak Asrun, apakah ada Bapak? I think maybe he has a network problem. May I now request Pak Imade Dwija Swastana, Secretary General of DPD Prajiniti Hindu Indonesia, Provinsi Bali, and also the Director of Denpasar Institute, to please give his opening remarks. Pak Dwija, the screen is yours. Pak Dwija.
Thank you very much for the
silakan Pak Dwija.
To myself, Pak Raffi. It's such a great honor for myself to be here virtually. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Imade Dwija Swastana. At the moment, I represent the chairman of DPP Prajaniti Hindu Indonesia, Bapak KS Arsana, and also I represent myself as the director of Denpasar Institute that based in Bali. Yang terhormat, the head of education, youth and sport department, the Ministry of Education, Bali Province, respected guest, Dr. Laksmi Sanmugan, respected guest, from India, I cannot mention the name, and also all the participants of virtual learning environment for effective education workshop that will be held today until the 23rd of January. Thanks to the Almighty God that we now can meet each other virtually in these useful meetings. I'm hoping that this workshop will enhance our ability, skills, especially for the teacher and also all educators that involved on this workshop to be able to understand and also mastering how to do the online learning at the moment, especially in Bali, because I'm based in Bali. We are still on the limitation of movement of the people movement because of the pandemic COVID-19. However, as instructed by the government, especially the government of Bali, we are doing mostly 75% online learning, so work from home. This action is taken in order to anticipate and also reduce the spread out of COVID-19, especially in Bali, that now we are having a challenge situation in Bali. But apart from that, as a teachers, now we are facing a technology, having the technology to help us to overcome this situation. So luckily, Dr. Rafi, Mr. Rafi Makija and team held this workshop for all of us. So let me congratulate to Dr. Rafi from the tie-ups and also from the SRM in Indonesia, the representative of SRM in Indonesia that held this workshop. And we are hoping that this workshop will be useful for all of us. As we know that, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that now we have to force ourselves to mastering the technology in how we mastering the technology to teach the students at home. So by this workshop, we are hoping that the teachers, especially myself, will have enhance the knowledge and skill to mastering this, and the student will not be bored to follow the study from home, because now the rumors that we heard from the community, the people, the student having a boring situation at home. They want to be in the school to study. However, we are facing this difficult situation. So by this workshop, we are hoping that we will get tips and tricks how to make the online learning will be enjoyable for the student, especially. And also from the other side, the teachers will have extra skill to mastering the technology. So from myself, I think that's all, Mr. Rafi. So thank you very much. And for the all the participants, welcome to this virtual workshop. And we are hoping what is stressing by the Kepala Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Bali just now, that we need to get more and more collaboration to get and to come out to overcome this difficult situation. Again, congratulations for all of us. Thank you very much. Om Santi 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 Om.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Tuja. Thank you so much for your support, Pak. We really appreciate. Okay, Bapak Ibu, we now have Dr. Asando, M.Hom PhD, the Kepala Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Sulawesi Tenggara. Pak Asron Leo, the screen is yours, Pak. Silakan, Pak Asron.
Okay, terima kasih, Pak. Thank you very much for inviting me on this opening speech of virtual learning environment effective education. And I am as head of education department in Southeast Sulawesi, happy to be here as for the opening online training. First of all, I would like to thank many people here who has participated and active in this virtual learning environment. And I would like to greet all the keynote speakers and all the participants of having this online training. I think this training are very effective and also useful for our teachers in Sulawesi, especially when they have a virtual learning arrangement for their class. And also thanks to and congratulate to the all the committee who have made this online training success for these 2 or 3 days to come. And finally, I hope this training is also participated by many teachers in Sulawesi. And this is for this, I think this is to make the improvement of education during the COVID-19 pandemic. And our policy, the policy in having teaching and learning process during the pandemic COVID is students and teachers' health are prioritized during this teaching and learning process. So having online teaching and learning is one of the solution of making this happen. And thank you to all keynote speakers. I hope this training will contribute to the improvement of our teaching and learning quality, particularly on this pandemic era. Thank you very much and for having me participate in this very professional meeting. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so much for your support, Pa. We have never been to Sulawesi Tenggara, Pa, but hopefully after the pandemic, gets over, we'll definitely be there, and we really appreciate your support, Pa, and look forward for further enhancement of education links between India and Indonesia. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your support, Pa. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, before we finish, we end the process, we would like to run a very short video about India, Bapak Ibu, because I know that I'm an Indian, Bapak Ibu, and as you know that what I see in Indonesia is people know about India more only about Bollywood, more only about Shah Rukh Khan, more only about Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. But honestly speaking, Indian education has, Indian education, I would say, is one of the most sorted institute, sorted destination. And just one more thing, Bapak Ibu, just to inform you all that the first university of the world does not come from the UK, it does not come from the US, but actually comes from India. And I know many Indians also don't know about it, and I'm sure many of our friends in Indonesia also are not aware of that part. So that's why let me ask the admin to please run a very short video of Study in India, and then we will end the inauguration process. Mr. Raja, can I please request the Study in India video, so please.
India is doing tremendous works on its education and investing a lot in education in government universities, at the same time private universities. So I thought that I should go to India just to equip myself with the new knowledge, technologies, and education system of India.
So with Indian education, you are going to grow in that field. You're going to understand, you're going to learn, and you're going to challenge yourself. You're not going to just regurgitate. You're going to be creative in your answers if you want good marks. And that's something that I took here and I really like it.
Studying in India is unique in its own way. First of all, you're studying in a very diverse classroom. The person who is next to you cannot speak to the other person in the same language. Now, that enables you to develop one, intercultural competence.
It has shown me the path to my future, like what I actually want to do, because of like studying here and because of the teachers, because of the help and cooperation that I'm getting from everyone.
It's such a peaceful country, and you can walk around the streets, roam around late at night, the shops close late, people are more respectful. And I started really liking India, and I'm contemplating continuing my studies here.
This 2 years has been a condemned path of me coming to India. To put it subtly or elaborately, it's been a joyful moment.
Okay, Baba Ibu. So that was just a very short video about study in India, just to share information about Indian education also, Baba Ibu, because India is just not about Bollywood, but India is much beyond Bollywood. And that is what I would just like to, just wanted to share that information to all our teachers and friends in Indonesia. Okay, Baba Ibu. So that ends the inauguration session. We would like to thank all the committee members, also the vice chancellors. Thank you for all the support and for making the inauguration a success. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for the for all your guidance and support. Really appreciate that. Okay, so Baba Ibu, let me now continue with the actual session today. As mentioned, it's a 3-day workshop, Baba Ibu. And the 3-day workshop is split into topic 1 for day 1 is online tools to enhance education. Day 2, the topic is psychology cum technology in education. And topic 3 for the day 3 is assessment and e-quiz. So Baba Ibu, for the day 1, we have a very renowned resource person, the speaker, Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj, MSc, MPhil, PhD. He has done his bachelor's from St. Xavier's College, India, and also Master of Science from Joseph's College from Tiruchirappalli, and MPhil and also PhD in Computer Science from Tirunelveli, which is a part of the South India. 24 years of working experience in the field of IT, 22 years of experience, teaching experience in reputed institutions, including SRM Institute of Science and Technology, 10 years of software development and training experience in software industry, currently working as the associate professor and the head of the department of the computer applications and the coordinator of the data center in the faculty of science and humanities at SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Baba Ibu, without further delay, may I now request Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj to take over the screen. Dr. Albert, the screen is yours, sir.
Thank you, Ravi sir. respected officials from Government of Indonesia, our respected Vice Chancellor, sir, Director IR from our institution, Dr. Kathar Singh, the organizers, including Mr. Ravi, sir, learned members, and my dear participants, the teachers. Good afternoon to you all. So really, I am happy to join with you during this pandemic situation through this 3 days workshop. Really, I am happy and I feel more blessed that I am given this opportunity to interact with my teaching community in Indonesia, especially the school teachers who are shaping up the future citizens of every country. Really, I salute you all and I thank you all for your interest and enthusiasm in learning about the online virtual tools and making every young children to learn effectively, efficiently, and to cater their needs. Different tools through online mode of education. Really, I thank the organizers for having given this opportunity both to the teachers as well to the teaching community in SRM IST for interacting with effective teachers. So I thank once again the organizers, and let me just get into the presentation. See, yes, of course, as like our Panjatram sir told, there are 158 teaching methods. Really, it's wonderful thing that almost in India, all 158 methods of teaching have been introduced at different levels. Yeah. See, now we are in the pandemic situation where we have to make our students to learn even more better without any sort of reduction in the knowledge and wisdom that they are supposed to be given. The online tools are available. Ravi sir, may I share my presentation now with your permission?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. So you could share your screen and you could also come online. I mean, we are not able to see you, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yes, sir. Hope I am visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Great, sir.
Yes, please, sir.
So this is what I'm going to present with my teachers. For sure, many of the things that I'm going to walk through is already known to you, but even in an enriched format, how we can go about using these tools to make our students learning better with more involvement and helping them to extend their horizon of knowledge. So that is what my aim. See, what are virtual tools? Or why is it required? See, yes, we know that during this pandemic situation, we are unable to come and gather in a classroom atmosphere for learning. So these tools, which the software tools, more mainly the web-based platforms, provides opportunity for both the teachers and the students get connected always. There, the knowledge sharing goes without any disruption. With regards to that, there are many tools available with open access as well as licensed version of tools. Edomodo is one of the tools which are used mostly in some of the schools in India, which connects the teachers and as well the students together, where the teachers can share their learning materials. The students can just do their assignments and can just submit it. The teachers can evaluate. There they can just review and give feedback to the students. Thereby, the learning of the teachers, learning of the students, right, becomes very effective. Socratic is another tool also mostly used by the school teachers, which allows teachers to create exercises, or the lessons can be prepared in the form of games, which the students can learn, and as well they can solve using their either they can access it through their mobile devices or laptops or maybe tablets or whatever it is. Then project is another tool which is also available online that helps to create presentations including different elements that would help, like video, audio, then graphs, maps, and other things through which the learning can become more effective. So that's the way project can also be used. ThinkLink is also similar tool that we can have. We have EduClipper online tools which helps to prepare education materials. So this can also be accessed through the mobiles, where the materials can be made available to the students, and thereby the learning process can be made easier. Storyboard is another tool through which the teachers can prepare the lessons in terms of stories that the school level students can be given. That would help them to learn more about the concepts. So Storyboard, which elegantly helps the students, school students, to learn more content. Then Animoto, as the name implies, animation, it means. So Animoto, which helps us to create the lessons in the forms of videos and making the students to learn effectively. Then similar tools are also there. Kahoot is another tool, again, which just enables the students to learn through games, lessons, or any concepts, any topics for discussion can be prepared in the forms of games and questions with the interactive forms of learning. It can be done. So likewise, there are n number of tools, but mostly the form of teaching, classroom teaching, like feeling should be given to these students. So where there are n number of tools available, like the Zoom tool, which helps us to conduct this in the video conferencing format. Similarly, the teachers may do teaching through Zoom. So in our institution, mostly we do the teaching through the Zoom. Then similarly, we have WebEx and other things. Generally, the free tools that are available and supported by Google are mainly used for effective online learning. So that helps us to have a very good virtual environment through which the students and teachers can be connected with more effective form of knowledge sharing, reviewing, and as well helping the students to get even more. So the first thing that I would like to recall, probably as I told in the beginning, many of the school teachers might be aware of this, but what very simple settings or the configurations that we can do to make all these things effective. The knowledge that I have, I will just share with you. So Google Classroom, it is a very good application. So Google provides Google Classroom as well as Google Forms, through which the teaching as well as the reviewing process can happen effectively. So for working through Google Classroom, it is required to have a Google account. The teachers, if they have the Google account, or if the school or the organization has the Google account, they can very well create a Google Classroom. Multiple Google Classroom can be prepared. So which helps the teachers to share the concepts in different forms, in the form of presentations. The PowerPoint presentations can be prepared. Any number of slides can be prepared that can be passed to the students through this virtual classroom. Similarly, any video link or video created can be shared with the students through this classroom, so that students connected to that particular class will have the access to such contents. Similarly, the teachers can share documents, or in any form the content the teachers wants to share with the students can be shared through this Google Classroom. And also the teachers can give assignments to the students, either the group assignments or even individual assignments can be given to the students through this. So paperlessly, the students can prepare assignments and they can just submit it online, which can be evaluated by the concerned teachers. So that is what the main support that Google Classroom provides, and that virtually connects the teachers as well as the students together. So through this, the teachers can track, and as well students can also keep track of what's due, what content they have to learn, and what assignments that are to be given, and all those things can be there. And the teachers can also understand that who has done and submitted the work, the assignment work, and direct the students, and they can give the feedback to the students as well as the marks related to the assignment, or any evaluations can be given to the students through this classroom. That the faculty members as well as students will feel comfortable. So how to open up the Google Classroom? It's very simple. See, we have if we have the Google account, we can just open. The teachers may have a Gmail account, or they may have the institution related account that can be accessed through the Google platform. So if that is the case, then the Google Classroom can be accessed through the Google account. And once it is accessed, the teachers are given option to create the class. See, either the teacher can, the teacher after logging into through the class or Google Classroom through the credentials, they can give the option for creating a class, or if they have already created a class, certainly they can just join or request the students to join to that particular class. So that is what normally we do. And all these things I will just run through, because as of information I was given, many of the teachers are already in this working through Google Classroom as of information I know. So I just have a quick walkthrough. So this option that provides create or join class, where we can just create the class by giving the class name as well as the section. So we can click on this plus, which permits or which allows us to enter the class name along with the section, then we can create. Once the class is created, now virtual class environment is created, it is possible to permit the students to join the class. A class may be handled by more than one teacher also. So a teacher who created the class can invite other teachers to be the co-teachers to this Google Classroom also. So there are two ways to invite students or to have students to join. So either we can invite the students. Students should also have the Gmail account. Then only the student can join to their Google Classroom. So we can invite through email to join the class, or we can directly send the code. Every class that is created has a code. By sending the code, we can just invite the students to join that particular classroom. So when we just have the class created, you can see you go to the Google Classroom, click on the plus sign, all those things that helps us to create the class, and you can just invite the students to join. Now, if you just have look at the Google Classroom homepage, where we have three major tabs. One is stream, another one is students, and another one is about. With regards to this stream, if you just look at, we can have the two major elements, announcements as well as the assignments. As like the physical classroom, in this virtual classroom also, it is possible to give announcement to the students, like about the submission of an assignment, or about conduction of an event, or maybe any kind of announcements that possibly we can just give to the students through this, which means that as and when the student logs in to his Google Class, he can just see the announcements. Then assignments can also be given to the students. So we can just discuss more about it. See, when I just say announcement, right? Those announcement can be seen as soon as the students logs in. The teacher of that particular class, who is the administrator, can just post the announcement. Announcements can be given to a group, the students who are belonging to that particular class. So that normally the teacher gives. So that's what the thing. And even if the teacher wants to change the theme, the teacher may go to may have different classes. If the teacher wants to differentiate one class from another, the teacher can just change the theme and other things, which you can just see here on the screen, that change your class theme or add your photo at the top of the Google Classroom. That setting can be done by clicking on the options given there and highlighted there. When I just say the Google Classroom, I could just give the parts of the Google Classroom like this, where there are upcoming assignments that we can see. There may be some deleted items also. The class code that you can see here. So this is what generally the basic information that every classroom that you can just refer to. Right now, I could just show you a screen where the students are invited and they have joined the class here. The students tab, by clicking on that, we can just see that. So that's what this slide represents. The stream I just talked about two major elements, namely announcements and as well assignments. Assignment I will talk more little later, how we have to post assignments and other things. Then the second tab is students, where the list of students who are connected to that particular classroom can be seen by clicking on this students tab. So here we can see another view here. Even we can just have the room, we can just create. We can have Google Drive folder for placing the assignments and other things that the students give by giving. So all those things that we can see, I have just given a highlight on how the classroom homepage that normally that we feel. With regards to the assignment part, first, this is announcement. First part is announcement. So Google Classroom gives a place to post all our announcements. So here, this may be a link that we give, right? So that by clicking on this particular link, the announcement can be seen, or simple messages can be put up in the form of announcements so that the students can see such announcements. There are different ways to use announcements. There may be a place to make announcement, a place for students to make announcements to each other, where like kudos or questions or concerns or updates can be just given or shared between the students also. So those kinds of things we can have, and there may be very simple discussions that we can just activate, or we can just have very simple messages to share with the students or between the students. We can just make it. So those are all the ways to make announcements. So how we have to go about? This is option which I am just highlighting, the announcement, right? Clicking on that, we can just have a message or a text box to type the message where the announcements can be typed. Then we can just post the announcement, right? Post is the option after typing the content of the announcement to the students, like your science festival is or will be organized on such and such date. You can just keep for a group of students or even the whole class. We can just post by selecting here either to a group of students that we have or to some selected students, right? All those postings can also be happening. See, I'm not giving you a demonstration. I'm just recollecting what this Google Classroom provides as to the students, or how it helps us to communicate with the students in a virtual environment. Now, if you just look at the assignment, see the classwork or any lessons that we have taught, the students may be asked to prepare assignment, right? The assignment topics, again, to a set of students, we can just give, or we can give a common assignments to all the students. Likewise, we can do. So when the students are given assignment, it is possible to set the title of the assignment. We can just give the date of submission, the deadline date of submission of the assignment also. So using Google Documents or in form of Google Documents, we can just make it. Which means that no paperless work is not required. Paperless work is supported. Paper is not required here as we are using the virtual environment. The students can prepare in the form of documents. They can submit the documents. The students can prepare in the form of presentations, the assignments, they can submit the assignments. So that is what this assignment tab helps us to use. So mainly we can have different forms of assignments like collaborative assignments, group assignments, individual writing assignments, which is given to individual students. Then it is also possible to share the note-taking templates. Then the main thing we can just have evaluation, a review of understanding of the students through quizzes that we can do, and even any mini project works can also be given to the students. So with regards to assignment, if it goes in detail, this is what the screen look that every teacher can go and create assignment. I mean announcement. See, announcement is here. When you click on announcement, we can create. Now, assignment is another part where by clicking on this assignment, we can create assignment to the students. See, we can type the title in the title box, which is here, title of assignment. Then any description the teacher wants to give about the assignment can be given here. The due date of the assignment can be fixed. If the teacher wants to add any document for students' reference while preparing the assignment, it can be done by clicking on this attachment. The first one is for attachment. Then if any document to be shared from Drive, we can just make it. Any videos that are to be shared with the students, that video may help the student while preparing their assignment, that we can provide. Any link that student, the fourth one, this is the link or reference link can be given to the students so that the student can refer to those contents and can prepare assignment and submit it. Then after doing all these things, after completing all these setup, we can just assign. This assign will help us to assign to either one student or a group of students to whom this assignment goes, and that assignment has to be submitted within that due date that I have just given here. We can attach a document from our computer to the students as reference, or we can attach from the Google Drive, or we can attach a YouTube video. There is a video that we can just give, or we can just give a link. So how we can just attach the directory from the Google Drive, that is given here. We have to click on the Drive icon, where I can just go to the My Drive. So within my Google Drive, which is created under my Google account, I can have my documents that I have for preparation. Then I can just select it. So I can give the name for my drive. I can just give the name for my drive. If the name already exists, that will come. Otherwise, we can just create a new drive where I can just add a new drive. I can add a file to it, and I can just make it available. The attachment can be given like this from the Google Drive. See, once a Google Drive is created, see, through this way, we can click the drive icon, right? My drive comes, where I just search for my drive and I just add it. That's it. So then once after adding that, we can have file. We can go to that file. We can view the file. We can edit the file, right? And we can just make a copy for each student. Those options are also available in Google Classroom that we can just effectively use for maximizing the input to the students while they are asked to prepare assignment. So once if you just do it from students end, right, we can just know the students can see the deadline of the assignment with the topics, and if we have attached anything, any document for reference, that can be seen. And we can also track the progress of assignment, of the students through our page, where this snapshot shows how many assignments are done. There are 39 students. How many assignment students have submitted their assignments? How many yet to submit their assignments? So that we can follow up the students. We can give a reminder to the students. Thereby, we can just make the students to submit the assignments within the time. See here, we can just have the list of students who have submitted their assignments. See, we can select the students and we can just see who are all the students who have done their assignments, so that once after their assignment is completed, the teacher can see those assignment content and they can just grade their students. So those things are there. So so far I have just covered or recalled, I would say, because as of information I was given, many of the teachers have already started working in Google Classroom. Otherwise, I might have given it in a demonstrative manner. I have just given points just to recall the content, because class, then review formats, then add-ons. That is the way I'm just going to teach, which I'm going to just share with you. Adding a co-teacher, as like I told, there may be multiple teachers to a class. There may be one admin and multiple teachers, or the teacher, if the admin permits, the co-teachers can also become admins of that particular class. So multiple teachers can now serve as the admin for each classroom. Who would I add as a co-teacher? Now I can just go and add. How we can just add? How to add a co-teacher? See, there are options here, right? See, in the classroom, in the home page of the classroom, you can see that invite teacher. Invite teacher. So open up the class you want and you just click about, where click invite teacher, type the email address of the co-teacher. So this is mandatory. Every teacher should have email address to join the Google Classroom. So the admin who has created the class now invite another teacher by using their email address to act as the co-teacher. It means that 2 teachers or 3 teachers can be joined to the class. So that is what generally I wanted to recall about Google Classroom. Then after end of every semester or a year, right, in a school, all data related to one particular class can be archived. So any materials that we gave, any discussions or any posts, any assignments, all those things can be archived. Later, if we want to refer to it, we can just do it. We can do it. So any class that was archived can be viewed by the teacher as well as the students. However, when the class is archived, we cannot edit or add anything until we restore it. If you want to add some content to it, then it has to be restored. So that is what generally with regards to archive concept that I would like to tell you now. Sorry. Yes. So that's what about the Google class that I wanted to give you. So archiving a class and how it can be done. Now, drafting an assignment or announcement. There are many things that I want to just skip, as these things are again the repetitive things what I have done. Now, what I would like to do is I'm just taking you to the assessment part. So many things I prepared, but generally the Google Classroom, which I recalled, how the teacher can prepare assignment, how can post content, how they post assignments that I have given. Now this is related to reviewing or evaluating the performance of the students. Google provides a very good tool, G-Form, that is Google Form, for evaluation. Google Form is not only used for evaluation, we can also use this Google Form for collecting informations, any surveys that we are making, and many things. So anything that we can do. As we are targeting our teaching learning process, this is mainly now I'm going to do for assessment. Here I will just recall again the Google Form concept with add-ons that can be added for making this Google Form more effective and through which we can achieve more. How we can set the time for the examination. Even we can just do proctoring through proctoring of the examination. That I can connect my students for taking an exam. My students can be connected to take exam, and the system can do auto proctoring, like what we are doing. The camera should be on, and the system will just monitor and track and log in every movement of the student. Suppose when I am just conducting a test for assessing the performance of my student, right? I may have a number of questions. Those questions can be answered, right, by the students. Where some smart students will try accessing answers through different forms. Even they may just open up a Google window and they can type the question to get answer if it is a Googleable question. And those kinds of things, or they may have kept their material open and they may refer to it to write it if it should not be done of that kind. And those kinds of moves can be recorded and can be seen or can be accessed by the teacher to declare the performance of the students in a way. So that we are going to do. After completing that examination or anything, the students can be given a certificate of the examination. So these three things that I'm going to highlight after recalling the basics of the Google Forms here. So we know what a Google Form is. So it's a web-based application.
Albert, sir, just a small request, sir, if you could speak a little bit slowly, sir, just to make sure that all the teachers understand that, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir. I'll go a little slow, sir.
Please, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So, dear teachers, sorry, if I am going a little faster, very sorry, I'll slow down myself. Yes. See, so far we discussed the concept of Google Classroom. So how Google Classroom can be effectively used. Now I'm just moving into the process of evaluation of students' performance. So we may have taught the students. Now we want to evaluate the understanding of the student, right? For that, this Google provides us an app called Forms, Google Forms, G Forms. Normally we call it as. It is a web-based app which is used for creating any data entry form or anything, but we can also create exams, quiz through this Google Form, right? So that's what I'm going to just deal with now. How should we to create a Google Form for evaluation? First thing, we have to create a form. So how to create a form? How to add questions to it? What types of questions possibly be added? Then how we can group those questions, all those things that I'm going to demonstrate through this session, right? In this session, I'm going to demonstrate it. First thing, how to go to Google Form. As like I told, we can enter or we can access Google Classroom. In Google Classroom also, evaluation or quizzes is there. When we select that, automatically it takes to Google Forms app. Or if a Google Form has to be created, we can log in to the system through Google account. So we can just log into the system through our using our Google credentials. We can just enter into it, right? there we can access the app. So how we can just access the app that we all know. Once after we entering, we could see 6 dots which are appearing on the right side of the Google window. By clicking on that, we can see the list of apps that are provided by Google, where Forms is one app that we can select. So we can log into Google, we can go click that 6 dots that is there, dot, 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 right, that we can see, right, like this, right. Then we can just click on that, that opens up different possible apps that are provided by Google, where we have to select Google Form. Then it opens up a Google Form environment where we can just select blank form, so that you can see a view as like I could see in this slide. The form has not been given a name, so you can see untitled form. You can give a name to that particular form. A name can be given to that form, right? Maybe class test 1, science class test 1, maths class test 1, or science class test followed by the date. Likewise, we can give, right? Followed by this, right? There are many things there, many options that you can see here. This is a major area where the questions will be entered. Some of you might have already experienced in preparing this Google form, but what I am showing here and explaining is for the novice users, or those who are really new to the Google form environment, right? So here, this is the place where questions have to be entered. Suppose if I want to check, right, what is force? A question that I want to give, what is force? So the question is a science question. I'm just asking, what is force? That is to be entered here, the first one, right? One. This is the place where we have to enter the question. There are different types of questions that we can have, right? There are different types of questions that I will just explain to you in the next slide, right? We can select the type of questions. According to the selection of the question, you can see some changes in this area. You can see some changes in this area, right? That I will just explain to you. Then, if the question type is of multiple choice, means for one question, you can give more choices. From there, the student can select a choice that we can give, so that I can just give. So the view is given here. According to the selection of the question type, you can see here. This is another very important thing where if I want to duplicate a question, right, meaning that either I can just go to the next question, I can add question, or I can copy a question where if I want to make minor changes, question is more or less the same, but minor changes, or if I want to change the type, or if I want to change the options, I can just copy the same question and I can just do necessary things. If I feel that the question is no longer required for conducting evaluation, I can delete. So this is delete. Then this is one option that is open to the user, required. Required means the answer for this question is compulsory, required. Some input should be given. Some selection must be made by the student or by the candidate who is filling this form. That this required means. So that is what mainly I want to tell you while creating the Google form. See, we can create a blank form here. We can create a blank form here where I can show you different types of questions that this form has. We have the short answer type questions. We have the paragraph type questions, multiple choice questions. We have check boxes. Check boxes like what are your hobbies, or what are your interesting games. Likewise, what there may be multiple options to select. So here, this will help us to select one option rather, and this helps us to select one or more. Right? We can check. Then drop down. We may have a list of answers or options from where the examinee or the student or the user can select one. Likewise, right? This is one another type of question. And for some, yes, sir.
Albert, sir, sorry, sir. Just to inform you that, sir, just to mention you that most of the participants, they are very well aware of the Google Forms, sir.
Okay.
They know these forms. They have been using these forms. So if you don't mind, sir, you could probably give some advanced features or something else, sir, because I believe they are quite familiar with all these,
Great,
because
sir.
they've been
Great.
using this, sir,
Okay,
last
great, sir.
7-8 months.
Great, sir. Great, sir.
Yeah.
I will just then quickly go through this, sir. So the section concept that our teachers might be aware of, you can just have different sections within which you can group different questions, and you can make it, meaning that if there are multiple questions, maybe suppose if I say there are 50 questions, all those 50 questions cannot be seen in one stretch. So what we can do is we can arrange it in such a way that right, page wise arrangement, as like what we do, we can create section wise where we can group the related questions and we can just make it in that way. That's what sections normally means. So here I have some options that we can just do for settings, as like sir Ravi sir told. Probably you might be aware, but anyhow I would like to tell you, this is for validating the answer. What answer that we can just have validation, right? That I can give the number when I enter, it may be greater than 1 or greater than 0 or greater than 100 or between these two, or when I enter some text that has to be within this size or length, whatever it is that I can do set. Then I can do customizing of settings, colors and other things. Mainly I'm just focusing on this quizzing, where the time setting and other things that I can very well do. See, with regards to pieces settings, mainly the forms are used for evaluation or assessment, as like I said, right? As like I said, that is used for evaluation or evaluating the performance of the students, right? So where we can do gradings, either we can go for immediate grading that you may have already used, or we can just manually review the answers and give feedback to the students. Then we can just give them the grade. Likewise, and we can do other settings also. We can limit the responses and everything that we can do. I will just go through all these things. So quizzes is the option. We can create a Google form. We have to convert it into a quiz. So make this as a quiz. This is what the option that we normally might have done. Where another option is the release grade, as like I told you, immediately after each submission. Once the student submit it, immediately the grade will be released to the student. Otherwise, the next option is later or after manual review. Then there are few other options also. We can set options like missed questions, where the respondent can see the missed questions. Respondents can be given a privilege to see the correct answers, and as well the points that the respondent has scored. Those things can be set. If we have to prepare questions in the MCQ format, probably that's multiple choice questions, we will set the answer key as well as the points, grading points also. There may be one correct answer or maybe two correct answers, whatever it is. We can select the correct answers and accordingly we can assign the points that we may have done. We can have the progress bar, or sometime we may need to shuffle the question order in a way. Suppose if we just stereotypically display the order of the question, there are possibilities for commitment of exchange of answers and some malpractices. So as to avoid it, we can shuffle the question paper, right? Those things that we can do. Then as like it can be shared. The evaluation form or the quiz that we have prepared can be shared with the students through their email, right? Or we can just share a link to the students and we can make them to attend that. There are some cheat proof to that we can just make sure. One, shuffling the order, option order. Shuffling of question is possible, as well as shuffling of option order will also is also possible, and that will make it difficult for screen creepers to copy answers. Sometimes they just take a snapshot of the screen and send it through WhatsApp or any format for their friends to share. That can be avoided. Then use sections to prevent assessment reviews. As like I said, we can have page breaks for alternative assessment paths. Then we can just make it, more, in a very configured manner. We can manage the responses. So responses of the students or respondents can be seen. It can also be downloaded in the Excel format if you want to, manual, that is spreadsheet format if you want to. Mainly, I'm going to focus on add-ons. See, add-ons are some utilities that we can just think of, we can include in the form while we are preparing the quiz. So Google Form add-ons are the extensions created by third parties so that they can just customize the operations of a form. The first add-on that I wanted to make is the form limiter. Form limiter, there are many add-ons. So where we can just check this add-ons, it's very simple. You go here in these three dots, we can click the bottom. If you just scroll, there is a menu something coming up. If you just browse down, you see add-on here. When I click on that, this screen appears. This the list of add-ons that are possibly linked to the form can be just seen here. Form limiter is there, form notification is there, form ranger, right? And there are many things, many certificate, as like I told you, that is there. Auto proctoring, that is also there. So those things can be seen a little elaborately than what I have discussed. Probably that would make my job a little more effective, I feel. Ravi sir? Ravi sir?
Yes, sir.
Can I stay a little more
please
time
go
on
ahead,
this?
sir.
Yes, sir. Sure. So the first add-on that I want to just show to you is form limiter add-on. So this is to limit the maximum time and other settings that we can do here. See, the add-on has to be added. Then I will just go through, right, what are all the things that we can see here. The add-on name is form limiter, right, which is available as an add-on. First, whenever we want to use any special configurations or any special formats, the add-on has to be installed. The add-on has to be installed by clicking on the button that I showed here, selecting add-ons, selecting the particular add-on. Here I have selected form limiter add-on for demonstration, right? Here install is the button that we have to click. This form limiter option that I'm going to use right in my quiz. So I just install it here. When I try installing, it will just ask. It needs your permission, right, for installation. Yes, you can just continue. When I click continue, automatically it will ask the user to select the account, right? Choose an account from, right? This is our SRMIST.edu domain, right? If you have any of your domain or your mail ID can be selected. Your mail ID can be selected. Immediately, it will just open up that, or it will include that particular add-on, right, within the form when we click this final button allow. Through that, a number of options can be seen here. Edit, create and edit all of your Google Drive files. So it needs you to give permission for accessing many things. So that because it is a third party, it is not a Google created one, it is a third party tool. So we have to provide permission to that particular tool to access, right, our environment. So that is what mainly, right, we have. Allow, when we click, automatically the form limiter is added. The form limiter, right, that you can see here, it is added, right? Automatically, you can see this particular window, form limiter window. The limit types, there are 3 elements that you can have here, but 2 major elements we will be working on, date and time. The first option is date and time. When I select that, it just asks me when a due date is set on. See, a quiz response or a form response can be made active or deactive. It can be enabled or disabled when we are creating the form. See, while we are having the form, there are two things. One is the form content, then responses that you can see. When I click responses tab, I will show you that is there. The responses tab, yes, the responses tab is there. When I have this responses tab, right, one is questions and another is responses. This responses, when I click, you can see an option whether it allows you to submit response or you are stopping the responses from the respondents. That is one way, right? That is the way we are just permitting it. Here, this form limiter helps us to fix the due date. So when your due date is set on, you can select the date as well as you can select the time. So these two things can be set, and you can just give a message also. If a respondent attempts to access that particular form, if a respondent attempts to access that particular form after the limit that we have set. For example, let me just create a form today. Let me create a form today. Today I have created form and I just shared the link with my students, which means that I want to collect responses from them from today onwards. If I don't want to get responses from today, I have to disable responses. Once the responses is enabled, which means that any respondent upon clicking this link has the privilege to access the form, which means that whatever data to fill there can be filled by the respondent, Now, once you fixed up the due date, right, like 25th, I fixed 25th Jan 2021, I fixed up to be the due date. Beyond that, maybe if a user attempts, if a respondent attempts to access the form on 26th, he will be given this message. This form is no longer accepting responses and has been set automatically closed, right? By the mail ID will be there. Any message you want to specify here, you can just. So that is what. After entering this, we have to save and enable, which means that this is an add-on which is going to take care of the limiting the response submission and other thing, right, automatically, which means that we need not to go and disable responses. That is what I mean here. And automatically it just stops getting responses from the respondents. So save and enable, which makes this add-on to come into role actually according to the configurations we have made. According to the date and time set, automatically this add-on will live in the background, will function in the background, and it will act accordingly. That is what it means, save and enable. So the first option in form limiter is date and time. The next one is number of form responses. This window shows that particular definition, right? So when how many responses we want to have, when it is required. Maybe with regards to our quizzes, it may not do serve the purpose, because suppose if we have 25 students or 30 students or 40 students in a class, I may expect responses 25, 30 or 40. But this may be useful if we are organizing an event where there is a restricted number of participants on first come, first served basis. I'm going to conduct an event where I allow only 25 participants to attend. Where I open up or share a form for getting the participants' details. Only 25 participants on first come, first served basis can be permitted. That can be restricted here. So this number of form responses is working in that aspect. So I can define 25 or 100 or 200. Accordingly, when the number of responses reaches to that count, I permit only 50 responses. When it reaches the maximum, automatically the form will not accept any responses from any others if they are attempting to access it. So this form is no longer accepting responses. That's it. So this is what this form limiter add-on helps us to do. So that is what we have to understand about form limiter, which is the first add-on that I want to give. Then with regards to our examination, right, we can set the timing as well as we can do proctoring. We can do proctoring. Proctoring, as like I said, we are not, the examinee or the teacher is not going to do proctoring online. It is going to be an automated form of proctoring, which means that the system, the app itself will take care of, right, proctoring to, by recording the activities of the student. It automatically gives information or records information which can be referred later by the teacher. So for that, the add-on that we will be using is timer and proctor add-on. Timer and proctor add-on that we will be installing. So once we install, we can see it there, right? You can see here, right? Find the timer and proctor add-ons. Add-on, when you are inserting in the form, right? You could have seen all these things, right? This is the theme and this is preview. This is setting. You might have seen this is send, and this is for adding the pop-up menu, right? And add-ons, when inserted, you could see this image. By clicking on this, right, you can see what are all the add-ons, right, you have connected to your form environment. Now that can be seen. Now, how to use autofocus? That's what I want to tell you. See, many a times they may be interested in seeing the movements of the student or the person who is taking the examination. We may be we may be just trying to watch what at other end the student has done, because he is in a virtual environment. We are not seeing the student physically writing his examination. We are not seeing the student. So what we have to do is we can just use this auto proctor option for monitoring how the student is doing his examination. Is the student honestly doing his examination, or what else he is doing? That we can just check. See, we have to open the auto proctor add-ons. We can do the configuration, right, settings. Then we can just copy the link, right, for auto proctoring. It is not the normal quiz link that we will be sharing. We have to share the link that is going to be created here, because it has to be treated separately. It is not an ordinary or regular form of examination or quiz that we are conducting. It is going to be a proctored mode of examination, auto proctoring rather. So system itself records the movement of the students to identify whether the student has done his exam honestly. That is what the teacher can ensure. So for that, this is what this teacher has to do. Auto proctoring has to be opened. The configuration has to be done. I'm going to describe what configurations, what it means, how it has to be done. I will now tell you. Then we have to copy the link which is available here, share with the candidates who will be taking up the examination. So that is what we are going to see. The first one is, right, the main setting. There are 3 settings we are doing: main setting, timer, as well as proctor. The main settings, which deals with number of tests remaining. What it means here, student is taking 1 test. So how many tests that the students remaining? Sometimes if a student takes his exam through his mobile, he may receive calls, sudden calls he may receive. During that time, he will be moving out of test window to his call window, which means that he has moved out, right? Or dedicatedly, the student can minimize this app and enter into another app for some reference. And these kinds of things, if happens, how many times you will just permit him to make it. So that is what can be set here. That is number of tests remaining that you can have a maximum. When one attempt is done, automatically it will be decreased or decremented by one. Suppose if I say 5 times I can permit the student to move out of this test window. Okay, I can make it as 5. First time when a call comes or the student opens another app, automatically it is reduced to 4. When next time he attempts, it is reduced to 3, because that is the remaining attempt. Then 2, then 1. When it reaches 0, that's it. The student cannot continue his exam. He cannot continue his exam. That is the way the system does some proctoring, for which we have to do some setting. Then enable timer. Timer has to be enabled. How long? Right? The student can just take the test. Enable proctor. Proctors can be enabled. We can do that. Then test link, as like I told you, we can do it. This test link, either you can send to candidates individually, or you can share this to a Google Classroom. If I have created a Google Classroom, then this auto-proctored test link can be shared through the respective classroom, so that the student will be permitted to take only proctored mode of examination. That is what the concept that I want to emphasize here. The second setting that I will tell you, probably I hope I'm going little slow and okay. Ready, sir?
Fine, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Then the next is timer setting. So timer, we can just do setting here. I told you in the quiz response, the response, if the teacher logs, the respondent cannot access to give any answer or any filling to it. That is possibly done here also, where during the creation of form itself, through this timer and auto proctor add-on, the start date, end date, start time and end time, even including the duration of the examination, right, can be very well defined here. So the second tab is timer tab, which enables doing timer settings of this kind. What is the start date of the examination? Probably I'm creating the form now. I want to conduct the examination on maybe 1st of February. For that, I'm just doing all preparation now. We can have the start date as 1st of February. So a calendar will come. When we click on that, a calendar will come. We can select the start date from that calendar. Then start time. When am I going to schedule this examination? That is either in the morning, maybe from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Yes, I can click. Start time is 10 a.m. Right? End date. How long I will permit the response from the student. Suppose if the examination is of only 1 hour duration, I can have the same date as the end date, and the end time is going to be 11. That's it. So start date, start time, end date, and end time can be very well defined here. Then the duration of the examination in terms of minutes. As like I told you, if I start at 10 a.m., 10 in the morning, and 11 in the morning, I finish that examination. So 60 minutes duration, I conduct that examination. That is what the duration I have to enter here. This sixth option is little tedious option, auto close test. See, that option, either it can be enabled or disabled. If you just enable this option, it means that due to any situation, maybe through network problem or maybe through the malpractice that the system identified by the student, or through any form, or accidentally the window closed, automatically the test will be closed. The student or the respondent cannot continue by opening it again. So it is closed. So when we are conducting test, most probably we will just keep this open only. It is not enabled, it is disabled only, right? And we can do After entering all these data, click this update settings. So timer is set. First we set the main and as well the timer. The third one is the important one with regards to auto proctoring. The first one is, right, this window shows what are all the elements that we can set in this Proctor tab or under this Proctor tab or Proctor's setting I have put it here. One is tab switching. Are we allowing the student to switch between tabs? Sometimes we may give open book examination. The student may be permitted to take open book examination. At that time, we may permit students to move to a tab and refer, bring some content or anything. Otherwise, if you enable this, student is permitted to move between the tabs. You disable. You can disable this so that the student will not be permitted to move in between the tabs. Then, number of people. How many people? See, when we are doing proctored mode of examination, it is ensured that the student should have a web camera. Web camera must be active. All those things, when the student take examination, the system will take care and it will just confirm that the student has camera connected before continuing his examination. All those things will be taken care by the system. So tab switching is first thing. Then when that camera is on, only one person can be seen in the camera. Only one person can be seen in the camera, right? So number of people seen in the camera, right, can be defined here. So when we are restricting it, right, we have to give the data accordingly, number of people. Then audio and video noise. See, what the system will do is, if there are more than one person seen in the camera, immediately it will record a person has come other than the respondent. Likewise, the system will record. All these setups are just to keep the messages locked locked by the system, so that the proctor or the teacher can later refer to it, so as to confirm the honesty of the student in taking his exam in virtual mode. Then audio and noise levels. To what level can be permitted? If there are more than one person, or if the student discusses the answer with somebody, either through any other instrument, or maybe keeping a person inside his room where he is taking the exam, if audio noise level, it just varies automatically, because it has to be silent. The examination atmosphere within a classroom or within a room personally, even if it is conducted virtually, it has to be silent. Any noise increases, automatically that will be recorded. Then photos at random, the fourth option. Would you make the system to take photos? Yes, the camera should be on throughout the examination. Would you like to take photos at random? Yes, at random I need the photographs of the student, right? So that I can just confirm whatever the log file mentions or says. I can just activate it, right? So this is the first thing. Tracking is the first part. Then communication, right? Communication can be there. Communication, you communicate me after the test. The information will be sent to you, or it can be referred by the teacher later. So these settings, if we do automatically, right, the examination can be done in a very effective manner, right, to a certain extent, as we have students virtually writing examination and we are somewhere, we are monitoring the progress of the students. And this tool is also helping us to have the list of students and their test reports. We can see the test report, right? And we can have the complete dashboard with cumulative data that can be referred by the teacher for any decision taking, right? Dashboard for report can be seen, and auto proctoring can be enabled in that way. That's what I want to say about auto proctoring. So first I just told you how we can just limit the time, and now how time and auto proctoring, starting time and ending time of the examination, and auto proctoring can happen. Now I would like to take you through another add-on which possibly, if interested, we can use. That is e-certificate. By conducting the examination, checking the performance of the student may be given an online certificate. An e-certificate can be given. So it's a new concept, right? The student, as a token of acknowledgement, even participation or completion, whatever thing that we want to give, we can just give to the student. So, see, if we conduct a program in the school, we conduct a program for students. Maybe it's the math day we are conducting, or science day we are conducting, or even literary day, or even any days that we are observing and we are conducting. We are involving students to take part in different activities. For them, we can give competency certificate or participation certificate or anything acknowledging their participation, and that we can just very well do through the Google form. It is not required that this to be connected to a quiz or anything. Even it can be activated. I'm just going to briefly address to you about those ways by which we can just have e-certificate. Certify M is an add-on with using which we can accomplish that task. So that is for fast delivery. We can have the email ID of the participants. Once after the event gets over, once after you declare that the certificate can be given to the participant, we can just send it to the email of the participants. Very easily it can be done. Very fast delivery also it happens, right? So maybe if the certificate will be considered as a very important document, we can safely send it to the target person, either through mail or through login portal or student portal, right? We can safely send it right to the students. How can we do that? That I can just describe. So steps to create e-certificates that I'm just going to go through. We may have a Google form, right? Google form created. We can create a folder in the Google Drive. We can create the template of e-certificate in the Google Drive. Then we can just generate this automatically. We can just send it to the recipient. That is what very simple. Create a Google form. Google form is created with the intention to collect the details, communication details, right? So that's the way we can make it. These are all the steps that we can follow. Then, how to create a template of e-certificates? That's very simple, right? There are built-in templates that we have which we can access. Once you enter into that Certify Yum add-on, you can see a number of templates. Or I will just tell you there are different parameters or variables or fields we have. What field I mean is the name. Name is a field I want to have. Name is a field I want to have. Institution name I want to have. There may be participants from different institutions, or there may be participants for an event from different classes, right? Those things we can define in the form of a field, and we can just make it done. So that's what the main thing that we have. So this is what the template of a certificate that we can prepare. On top, we can have our school logo. The emblem or logo of the school can be the main thing in the certificate we can have. Then title of the certificate we can have here. Here I have mentioned for your example, certificate of participation, right? Or merit certificate of merit I can have, right? Then the body content of the certificate that I want to provide, right? All those things that I have here. These two, the name and institution, are the fields, which means that these two data are received from the form that we have created. That is the reason why Google form has to be prepared. These two variables or the value will be taken from the Google form. Or we can have a spreadsheet that spreadsheet can be connected for giving data to the certificate processing part. So that is what we have to give. So name and institution, these are the variables, which means that this changes person to person. This changes person to person. Any change that you need sometime, we can have a merit certificate of the student. This is to certify that the student name of the class has secured first prize, second prize, third place, right, in a competition. Likewise, name of the competition also. So these are called to be the parameters or fields or the tags. The values that are already entered through the form will be taken for filling up in this place. Hope you understand what I mean, right? The Google form has the data. This template has the fields. The data entered through the Google form or the data supplied through the spreadsheet is going to be merged here while the certificate is created. Hope I am clear on what I'm explaining. That is the way the certificate has to be defined. So this is the template formation of a certificate. Below you could see that the signature, the name signatures of the dignitaries who can provide the certificate or certify this is available. So template is created, right? So once after the template is created, we can just go ahead with our form of tool. So e-certificate generation using Certify. So this tool was introduced during 2007. It can be used as an add-on, right, with the Google form for automatic generation of certificate. Right. So first step I would like to tell you, first design the certificate. You add identifier questions. Identifiers, what I say, the name is an identifier, right? Institution in the format here, right? Name, institution, or any data that you want to change or make dynamic, you can put it like that. Add identifier to the questions. The first identifier question is always the email address, because that is the main thing that we will give, because it is going to happen in online format. So email address is very much required for sending this. Through mail only we are sending. Then the second identifier is always the full name of the participant. Then we can add many identifiers in the form. As like I told you, the form, when we are designing, first element in the form should be email address. Then the next one is going to be name or full name or whatever we have, right? Likewise, we can just keep it. Then we can add any number of identifiers according to the dynamism of the data that we want to add for certificate production, right? So we have to add it. Then Certify has defined Certify has defined merge tags, and only these tags can be used during customizing our certificates. I could have the number of tags that. Have you, sir? Anything to clarify?
No, nothing, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So,
thank you,
merge the tags that I have here. These are all the tags that we can have, right? These tags are going to be placed in the place. So we can formulate our own tags according to this. Suppose if I conduct an event, the date and time of event that I conduct can be there. If I'm just producing the mark certificate of a student, I can have the percentage of mark and other things. Grade points, if I want to define, I can give the grade points and other things. So there are some built-in merge tags that Certify provides. By assigning data to it, we can use it within our certificate format. So how to do that process? First, we have to install Certify in a Google form. So we have to open the Google form. We have to create a new Google form, as like I told you. We have to add the Certify add-on by clicking those 3 vertical dots I told you. 6 dots, right? You could see, right? That you have to click, right? From G Suite Marketplace, you have to do it, and it is done. Now, you have to turn on certification. Now you could see the templates here. This is editable one. whatever content you want to change, whatever the tags that you want to have, you can place here. The tag names that you are having here should be in the form, as like I told you, right? So full name, other identifiers, these two are here. The name generated format is here. One sample format that I have here. So that's it. So those things, the formats, templates, if we create, it is fine. E-certificate generation using Autocrat. Autocrat is another app, right, which can also be used for creating e-certificates. See, we might have seen, or you might have, some of you may be aware or not aware, mail merge is a concept. Mail merge. What is mail merge? See, we have the body of the letter content in one file. We have the recipient's information in another file. There are two different files. When I say files, computer files, I mean two different files. One may have the data. I could call it as the data. Another one has the body of the content. While sending or while producing certificate, the data is going to be merged with the body of the content. Accordingly, the certificates are produced. So Autocrat is another app that we can have, right? It is developed by Cloud Lab, which is an add-on for Google Sheet. So Google Sheet is another app that you can access through our G Suite, right? If you have G Suite account, Google Sheets can be added, and to Google Sheet you can add that Autocrat so that you can just go for creating e-certificates. So e-certificate can also be created when you are accessing using Google Sheets. How we have to do it? I'm just giving you the same form of structure. First, you have to design the certificate, right? You have to define the merge tags. What are all the information that you want to have, the questions. So the first one, again, I say it is always email address. Then we can have other contents that we can. So I'm doing two major add-ons here, combinedly. I'm just explaining to you two add-ons. One is Certify-M, another one is Autocrat. Two add-ons that I'm explaining. First, I explained you Certify-M. How to use Certify-M add-on to create certificates. Second one is Autocrat. How I have to use this for creating. Certify-M is linked to the Google form. Autocrat is linked to the Google Sheet. So that's what, to brief understanding, I want to recollect. So steps to generate and send e-certificates, the same as like what we have done. So you can create a Google form, or you can just have a Google Sheet, right? You can just go to the responses, collect the information, right, on a new spreadsheet. Add-ons, you add on, right? You just insert it through normal procedure, right? Then you can just do all the processes. Launch Autocrat and click new job. I'm just going for a new job. Write the name of the merge job. Choose the certificate template that I have created, right, which is available in my drive. I can do it. Do mapping of the tags to the names and respective columns, which means that either in the form you have different columns, different parameters to get data, or in the Google Sheet, we may have different columns for collecting the data. That we can just map what are all the things, what are all the data I want to take either from the form or from the sheet I'm just mentioning, right? Then we can just have a destination folder where these certificates can be created by merging the data with the body of the certificate content. Then we can just run the Autocrat so that it just creates certificates and we can prepare certificates of these kinds. So that is what we have to do. So mail merge, which is an option I told you, that is also possibly good for creating e-certificates. The third option I'm using. One is Certify-M, another one is Autocrat, and the third one, MS Word. MS Word has mail merge option. So it simplifies the process of personalized documents. So we can create and we can just do send certificates to the recipients. So that is what we have here. That also has another add-on, merge and split. The third add-on which we are going to have, where we have a Word document or a PDF. We are going to merge the data with that, right? And we are producing. using it. If I'm not confusing you more, I'll just describe you how the steps that we are following for preparing the e-certificates. Requires installing merge and split. That is a tool add-on name that we have, and though this we have a merge letter add-in. Merge letters add-in is there. Then we have a CSV data source. What is CSV? It is comma separated version of file, right? Comma separated means first one email, comma, then the name, comma, then other informations we have, which is a data source that we can have. It can be used to split the whole file of PDF created by mail merge, right? Feature. Then we can just add all those things. Very simple. I'm just doing create an e-certificate format in MS Word, save it to a folder. Very simple process. Those who are good in MS Word can do it very easily. Create an e-certificate in MS Word and save it. The certificate should have a definite place where the data has to be merged. So where it has to be placed, the folder, the drive, that has to be clearly defined. We can open a Google form, save the responses sheet in MS Excel format. That is very important. Because we are preparing the document in MS Word, and the data responses we collect in MS Excel, and we put it in the same folder. We put it in the same folder. Click on the mailing tabs, and we select the recipients from the drop-down menu. Right? We select use existing list in one option, right? With which we can do it. Now open the saved Excel sheet. We created the MS Word and we linked all those things. Then we open the Excel sheet, right? Where we want to place the name or any other fields, we use insert merge field and we make it. Then we click on merge split. It creates certificate PDFs and we can just keep it stored. That can be sent to the recipients manually. Or it can be printed and in hard copy also, it can be distributed efficiently. So this I wanted to cover during this session, and I have just made it. Probably I have just shared with you some of the knowledge that I have in preparing all these things through online tool. And probably my teachers, you can also make use of these options and you can learn to know more and you can just start using it. Here I have the references from where I have just selected my presentation. Ravi sir, am I on time?
Yeah. Sir, you're perfectly on time, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, sir. So just a question is, can we have a copy of your PowerPoint, sir? Because that is something.
Sure, sir. I will pass on to you, sir. Certainly.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, please. You
Even
could just
in
share
a material format. In a material format document, you need with more example. I can just add on and I can send to you, sir. So that our dear teachers can make use of it for learning, sir. I'll make it. One
please,
material like content, I will pass on to you, sir.
Sure, sir. Yeah, you could just send that the first one, what you already, what you presented today, that you could do it, and the other additional materials which can, which you have, sir, which could help our teachers, that also you could share, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate that, sir.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So very, very informative, especially the add-ons, I would say is very useful because I can understand there are add-ons is the additional feature which is on Google Forms, because what I understand is all the teachers, our teachers from Indonesia, from Bali, Banten, and also Sulawesi Tenggara, all of them are already using Google Forms. But I guess they are just using Google Forms just to collect the data or probably just to do some assignments. But I believe, Bapak Ibu, there are a lot of features. I mean, there's something called as Dr. Albert just mentioned, there's something called as an add-on. Now, what Dr. Albert just touched is very few of the add-ons. I believe there are many, many more. So we request the teachers to please explore the add-ons. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa dicoba karena add-onsnya banyak banget. Tapi bisa dilihat. Tapi ada beberapa add-on karena waktunya tadi yang limited. So Dr. Albert did touch about Certify M, Auto Proctor. Itu adalah Bapak Ibu kalau kita mau conduct quiz, kalau ada ujian, ya we just want to make sure siswa-siswi kita yang lagi ujian dengan baik, right, as per the protocols, ya itu kan ada option yang Auto Proctor tadi, ada form limiter juga, like Google Forms if we are asking some registration forms. Jadi kita nggak usah nunggu sampai malam. Jadi langsung kita bisa pakai yang form limiter. Kapan mau mulai active, kapan mau deactive. I mean, all those can be done through the form limiter. And then we can also prepare the, the certificates, the e-certificates, maybe for some occasions, mungkin ada some quizzes, maybe the students would like to have some certificates. Jadi kita bisa bikin e-certificates juga Bapak Ibu. Seperti tadi sampaikan dari Dr. Albert, we can use the Certify M and also using the Autocrat, which combines together along with Google Forms to send the e-certificates. Thank you so much, Professor Albert. Any questions, Bapak Ibu? Anyone would like to have any questions? Please do ask. We have a minute or two. And also, I understand Dr. Prema would like to share her views on certain questions which were asked about how to keep the students active during an online classroom. So any questions, Bapak Ibu? Ada yang pertanyaan? Silakan, Bapak Ibu. Please go ahead if there are any questions. Having said that, so there are quite a few questions which were asked, and I've already been I've been replying to them. Like for example, these add-ons, are they free? And I did mention to them, yes, they're all freely available. But yes, free to a certain extent. I mean, if they use like for maybe 1,000 students or 2,000 students, then I think they do also have a paid version, if I'm not wrong. Am I right, sir?
So yes, sir. For certificate generation, that's what requires. 100 certificates per day we can generate. Apart from that, if we want to generate, then we have to go for license.
Okay. Okay, so certificate for 100 certificates, it's for free in a day. But Bapak Ibu, if you want to send more than 100 certificates, then I think there's a paid version which is there. So that's how they work. That is there. The Bapak Ibu, I've already shared the link of the feedback form and also the attendance. I've shared it on the chat box. Saya lagi kirim sekarang lagi ya Bapak Ibu. So please do fill the attendance form and also the feedback form, which is very important because that is as per the rules for the certification. So I request all of you to please fill the forms. Right. So once again, Dr. Albert, thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for the wonderful session, for sharing your views, your knowledge about Google Forms, about Google Classroom, and especially about the add-ons, which I think was very useful to the teachers. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much. May I now request Dr. Prema to please, ma'am, could you just share your views, ma'am, on certain questions which were asked, which you would like to share, ma'am?
Ravi sir, sincerely, I register my sincere thanks to the officials from Government of Indonesia, the organizers, especially you, who is coordinating all of us, last 1 week effectively, and thank you personally for this wonderful opportunity given to interact with my friends in Indonesia. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Really appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Yes, Dr. Prema, please, ma'am.
Sir, good evening to everyone, all the participants. I had seen the questions in the chat box, how to retain the attention of the students. Actually, one of my student, research scholar, she has done her research, effectiveness of peer tutoring. Peer tutoring method is a wonderful method, especially in the online. Generally, in the general classroom also, it is difficult for us to retain the attention. So during this online classes, it is very difficult when they are staying at home. It is very difficult. I know the situation, but we can retain still. So peer tutoring is a method one-to-one. One-to-one. You can assign the students. One of the above average students can act as a peer tutor, and another below average student can act as a tutee for. So one-to-one. You can assign the students in such a way. Before that, you can teach the concept for 5 to 10 minutes. After that, you can ask the students to discuss among them. So easily they will be attentive in the classroom. So instead of listening from teachers, they will be very much interested to listen from their peers. This is one of the idea you can try. And another idea is storytelling. You can teach any concept by creating a story, by narrating a story, interesting stories, but it is difficult for teachers, I accept. but it is one of the method. You can narrate a story and you can tell them. They'll be very much interesting in your classroom. And I feel another important method is group learning. You can assign the students while you are, for example, you are taking Google Classroom for 1 hour. First, you can teach for 5 to 10 minutes. Then after that, you can make them group for group discussion. They will discuss among them. They will raise questions among them. They will come out with a concept. After that, you can raise questions. And you have to permit the students to raise questions. You can gain attention of the students by appreciating the motivating the response of the students. And you can, at the end of the classroom, you can give so many tasks about the oral presentation or write-ups. You can ask them to give write-ups or anything about your classroom for the past 40 minutes, 45 minutes, like that. This is one of the idea. And learning is not only learning the content. They must, since they are emerging young ones, they should also concentrate on extracurricular activities. So we can ask them to sing a song in between the classroom. So from the top to bottom up to 1 hour, if you talking by giving lecture, they will be lose interesting. So they will be lose interest. So you can in between ask any student where if they are interested, you can ask them to sing a song for 2 to 3 minutes. So other students also will be interesting. And even dancing or any handicraft work, anything can be involved in between the classroom so that they will be interestingly listen to you. So these are all the ideas we have, since we have done research in these areas. So you can follow this. This is my few ideas. And finally, this is my role of vote of thanks. I am very happy to give away the vote of thanks to all the dignitaries here. First, my VCs of TNTU and VC of our SRM IST. They have interestingly joined and they have given an interesting speech. I thank them for heartful thanks to them. And the dignitaries, great dignitaries from Indonesia. I thank everyone. And Sir Albert Sir, Dr. Albert Sir, he has given an interesting and well-prepared presentation. It will be very useful for everyone. I also learned everything. And Ravi Sir and Suresh Sir, they have coordinated very well. Dr. Ravi Sir, thank you, sir. And all the participants, all the teachers of Indonesia, and Dr. Govindan Sir, Department of Psychology, HOD from TNTU. He was also participated in our inauguration session. I thank him also. And Dr. P.N. Lakshmi Shanmugam, she is very much interested to coordinate this program. I thank all the participants and the team who are the hosting, who hosting the event. I thank everyone like Suresh sir and Preeti ma'am, I think. Thank you all so much. Thank you for once again for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Prema. Yeah, thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your views. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, that's the presentation for day 1, Bapak Ibu. So as mentioned to you that today's topic was online tools to enhance education, Bapak Ibu. So tomorrow we'll have the day 2, and the topic would be psychology come technology in education. So Bapak Ibu, kita harap bisa ketemu lagi besok jam yang sama. We'll continue to keep in touch with you all through the WhatsApp group. Also, I request all the teachers to please fill the attendance form. Attendance form is very important because that is one of the parameter which we see for issuing certificates. So we request all the teachers to please fill the attendance form. And apologies, I think there's some typo error in the certificate in the Google form. Please don't worry about it, but please do fill it. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Albert sir. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Prema. Thanks a lot to all the management team of TNTU and also SRM. Institute of Science and Technology. We look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow, same time, right? So thank you once again and see you all tomorrow. Terima kasih semuanya. Thank you everyone. We will look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
I'll keep in
sir.
touch
Thank
with
you
you,
so
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Sure, please. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you. Yeah, terima kasih.